Hello, I'm Arlo. Every day I wake up, I feel that this life inherently contains so many miracles, even in the simplest moments. I live in a bustling city in England, where the bustling streets, sparkling lights, and laughter of people create a vivid, colorful picture. However, amidst the chaos of modern life, I always try to find peace, joy, and simple things to connect with myself and those around me. Every morning, after making a cup of fragrant coffee, I often sit by the window and watch the city wake up. That's when my soul is relieved, breathes fresh air, and feels the presence of each moment. I believe that, no matter how busy life is, we need to take some time to listen to the beat of our hearts. It may only be a few minutes of quiet, but it is a precious silence that helps us realize that each passing day has its own value. During the day, I work at a prestigious university, but that space is not just a place where I teach knowledge. It is also where I meet and chat with enthusiastic young people, souls who are yearning to explore the outside world. I often organize small meetings at a coffee shop near school where we share everyday stories, joys, and difficulties. I remember one time, after a conversation, a student said, "Teacher, just listening to your stories, I feel that this life is not only about work and pressure, but also about warm moments with loved ones." That statement made me believe even more in the power of connection and sharing. I believe that each of us has the ability to brighten someone's day with just a smile, a greeting, or a kind gesture. Those are things that don't require anything big. We just need to know how to care and appreciate the small things. When I get out of class, I often spend some time walking on the streets, looking at the green trees, and hearing the sounds of children laughing. Those images always remind me that, no matter how life changes, the value of love, sincerity, and belief in the good always exists. It is simple moments like that that help me feel that every day that passes is an opportunity for us to grow, for us to learn and share good things. I hope that, through my stories, you can also find joy and comfort in everyday life. And remember that even though there are tiring times, with just a little love, everything will become much lighter. Always open your heart and cherish every moment, because this life, with all its simple things, is the greatest gift for us. I remember that moment clearly, like a blurry dream, where time seemed to slow down and everything around me became strange. One afternoon, like any other day, while I was having a small chat with my friends after class, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my chest. It was not a normal pain, but a feeling like the whole body was vibrating with a strange rhythm, making me dizzy and surprised. In that moment, everything around seemed to fade away, leaving only the sound of my heart beating rapidly, like a drum signaling that something was about to happen. I clearly felt that, in that moment, I was lost between two worlds. My body suddenly became heavy, while my soul seemed to be liberated, flying away from material constraints. I no longer felt afraid or panicked. Instead, I felt a strange sense of peace, as if all the worries and pressures of life were just a dream. At that moment, I realized that there are things that are beyond our understanding, things that we cannot measure or control with our reason. As I floated between space and time, images of memories, laughter, and even simple moments with loved ones rushed into my mind. I clearly remember that feeling, like sitting by the riverbank on a cool spring afternoon, watching the water flow slowly and feeling the peace that comes from nature. But this time, that peace comes not only from the surrounding scenery, but also from within me. A warm, gentle voice telling me that everything will be stable, that this life always has miracles waiting for us if we know how to open our hearts to receive them. I can never forget the moment when my body completely drifted out, as if I was just a floating soul, watching myself lying still under the dim light of the room. That's when I realized the value of every moment, every breath, something we are often too busy to realize. I remember a piece of advice a friend once gave. Life is not about what you see, but about feeling alive in every moment. And now, I feel it more deeply than ever. Even in that moment of near death, I did not feel despair or pain, but only an incredible peace and a belief that this life has a deeper meaning than what the naked eye can see. That feeling is like a gentle reminder that every passing day is a gift and we should appreciate it. After my near-death moments, when I felt a lightness and peace that far surpassed all my daily worries, I began a spiritual journey that seemed only possible in a dream. I felt like I was freed from the constraints of my body, flying through the vast and endless space. I found myself drifting into a strange place, where the light was not simply light, but contained soft sounds, gentle vibrations like whispers of love. There, everything becomes pure and inspiring. In that moment, I realized that there was a world beyond, where everything was completely different from the hustle and bustle of the city. I feel like I am entering a path leading to truth, to a place where all pain and worries disappear, leaving only faith and forgiveness. I am no longer myself, the person who is busy every day with work, worries about the future, or memories of the past. I felt like I was reborn, my heart open to receive something truly magical. As I gradually move forward, that spiritual path opens before my eyes like a colorful journey. I feel like every step I take is guided by an invisible, gentle, yet seductive force. Sometimes I hear children's laughter echoing, like an invitation to return to the simple values of life. Sometimes I feel the scent of flowers and moist soil after the rain, like a reminder that nature is always by our side, always ready to share the best things with us. During that journey, I felt like I was being comforted and welcomed by a warm source of energy that cannot be expressed in words. Each moment passes like a valuable lesson about life and faith. And then, in a sublime moment, I met the Messiah, the embodiment of love, forgiveness, and salvation. I couldn't believe that I was witnessing that in my journey of awakening, I encountered an image that I had heard about through stories and legends since childhood. But here, there is no grandeur or harsh solemnity. Instead, the Messiah appears in a gentle, friendly image like an old friend who is always ready to listen and share. I clearly remember his eyes. It was a look filled with love, as if he could see through all the pain, all the joy, and understand all the things that my heart once hid. At that time, I felt like all my difficulties, failures, and sadness gradually disappeared under that warm light. He didn't say too much, but just a smile, a light touch seemed to give me the strength to continue walking. I feel that no matter how many challenges this life has, as long as we open our hearts, we will find the light to guide us. We do not communicate through elaborate words or lavish lectures. Instead, everything seems to flow naturally, each story told as if it were small secrets of the universe. He told me that every human being is born with a unique mission, a great purpose that, as long as we dare to dream and believe in ourselves, all barriers can be overcome. He emphasized that no one is defined by the past or by mistakes, but it is in the ability to forgive ourselves and others that we can reach true happiness. While I listened to him, I remembered the times when I felt tired, felt that this life was too stressful, too difficult to overcome. I remember those long, sleepless nights when my mind was filled with worries and loneliness. But now, under the comforting gaze of the Messiah, I realize that everything is never meaningless. The narrator says that emotional wounds, no matter how deep, can be healed with the power of love and gratitude. And I began to understand that there is no need to look for big or complicated things. because true happiness can lie in the simplest things, like a hug, a smile, or a sincere word. We continued to walk on that path, and each step seemed to open a new door, bringing with it lessons that I had never thought of. He led me through magical scenes, green fields, clear streams, and even vast skies, where shimmering stars seemed to tell the story of the universe. Each of these images gives me a sense of peace and faith in life. He told me, life doesn't always go as expected, but it's the difficulties that make the journey beautiful. Learn to be grateful because every day is a precious gift. I remember at one point, when we stopped by a stream, I felt the coolness of the water, like a reminder that even though there are times when the soul may be broken, freshness is always ready to flow in, healing all wounds. Messiah told me about people who had failed, about people who had fallen before their fate, but then through faith and love, they found their way back to themselves. Those stories are like seeds planted in my soul, gradually sprouting, bringing new hope and vitality. The passage of time in that world no longer seems as meaningful as before. I don't know how much time has passed since I started this journey, but in my mind, every moment is filled with joy, gratitude, and a feeling of protection. I realize that no matter how many storms there are outside, inside each of us there is always a warm place where love and light never fade. Messiah taught me that to find true happiness, we just need to love and forgive, for others and for ourselves. I also remember the times before when I was struggling amid the pressures of life. I was too busy to listen to myself. But now, in the light of the Messiah, I have learned to stop, breathe deeply, and feel each moment. He told me, always remember, every day is a new opportunity to start again, to correct mistakes and become better. Never allow the past to lose your faith in the future. Those words were like a comforting balm, making me feel truly accepted and loved. We continued our journey together, and it seemed like every step was a lesson, a soul-renewing experience. I learned to observe the little things that I used to ignore before, like the sound of birds singing, the sunlight filtering through the leaves, or the friendly smiles of strangers on the street. Everything becomes more meaningful when I know that in each moment there is a message of love sent from the Messiah. He did not teach me how to live according to any model, but simply showed me that love and sincerity are timeless values, overcoming all human barriers. I began to remember the times I felt like a failure when I thought I wasn't strong enough to face difficulties. But under your warm light, I realized that none of us are perfect. Wounds and mistakes are just traces of a long journey, a journey that everyone needs to go through to become better. And it is in those moments of weakness that we learn to love and forgive and begin to love ourselves the same way we love others. I remember one time when we stopped by a large field, the Messiah sat down next to me and gently said, "Arlo, believe in your own heart. Each of us has a small fire inside, a source of divine strength that no one can take away. When you know how to light that fire, you will see that nothing is insurmountable." Those words seemed to warm my soul, making me feel a strong belief, a confidence that I had never known before. These hours with the Messiah opened up a new world for me, a world in which every wound can be healed, every soul can be renewed. He did not promise that life would always be full of joy, but he taught me that it is in the most difficult times that we learn to look for the light. He told me about people who had fallen, about people who had endured unspeakable pain, but over time, they found the strength from within to stand up and continue walking. I feel that no matter how difficult life may be at times, as long as we keep faith and love, everything will get better. When I opened my eyes and felt every beat of my heart again, I knew I was back. The return is not simply a return to the physical body, but also a moment when my soul is given the opportunity to live more fully, to understand that every passing moment has its own value. After my profound spiritual journey, I felt an indescribable change, as if a warm fire had been lit inside, spreading to every corner of me. From the first moments after waking up, I felt peace, but also a desire to share the miracle I had experienced. I remember sitting there, in the quiet hospital room, as the morning light gently filtered through the window, as if to remind me that each new day was a gift. That feeling made me realize that life is not just a series of passing days, but experiences that can truly transform us. I started sharing my story with family, friends, and colleagues. I said that, although I experienced a moment when I almost left my body, instead, I was welcomed by unconditional love, by a light filled with faith and hope. Every time I tell the story, I feel the warmth spreading from the listening eyes and sincere words of encouragement. Some people say that my story is like a gentle medicine to soothe their emotional wounds, helping them regain faith in life. That makes me even more determined to spread that message of love and hope to more people. With a heart full of inspiration and new faith, I began participating in community activities, from small chats at coffee shops to seminars where I could share my experiences in an honest, simple way. I hope that through these stories, each person will understand that even though life is difficult at times, as long as we open our hearts and listen to ourselves, happiness and peace will always find us. I share that seemingly meaningless moments, like moments with family or conversations with friends, are precious gems that we should cherish. In every conversation, I always try to create a warm space where everyone feels welcome and safe to share their own thoughts. I often say, believe in yourself, because each of us has a little fire inside, an inner strength that no one can take away. These words are not just simple words of encouragement, but also messages that I have drawn from my own experiences. I told them about the times when I felt weak, when the pressure of life was heavy. But then, with just a little love, a little forgiveness for myself, everything gradually brightened up. All wounds were healed. I remember one time after a talk at a community center, a woman cried and said, "Your story made me realize that I am not alone in my battle with myself." That was the moment that made me believe that sharing not only helps us ease pain, but is also a way to spread faith and hope. Those stories are like seeds, gradually sprouting in the hearts of listeners, helping them confidently face life's challenges. And I know, no matter how many difficulties there are, as long as we know how to give love, the light of faith will always find a way to spread. After those conversations, I began to organize regular meetings at small coffee shops in the city. I don't ask anyone to change their life immediately. I just hope they can stop for a moment, listen, and feel. I share lessons from my experience, that even though there are rainy and windy days, remember that after the rain, the sky will be bright again and warm. Rays of sunlight will flood in. I talk about simple moments like walking on the street, watching the morning light, or hearing the laughter of children, because those are the things that can make us feel life is more worth living. I also don't forget to remind everyone that spreading love does not require doing great things. Sometimes, just a compliment, a smile, or a sincere hug is enough to brighten up a long day. I advise you to take time for yourself, to slowly learn to love and forgive, because when we know how to love ourselves, we will easily inspire and share that with others. Looking back at the time after that journey, I realized that every day that passes is an opportunity to change, to start over with new beliefs. I am proud to see that my message has touched the hearts of many people, helping them find peace and happiness in life. And I hope that, through my story, You will also feel that even though there are times when you are stuck, as long as you open your heart, wonderful things are always waiting. Finally, I want to remind everyone that this life is inherently too precious for us to just pursue frivolous things. Stop, listen to your heart, and don't be afraid to share love with those around you, because it is in those small actions that we create a better world, a community full of faith, hope, and light. And I believe that each of us can be someone who spreads the message of love, contributing to making this life warmer and more meaningful every day.